anyone that's practicing value-based management is going to tell you you can't ignore the customers. You can't ignore your employees. You can't ignore the community you're in. If you do that, the shareholders are going to lose too. So you have to really consider not only making money, but how you make the money. The cultural mindset has to change from this pure view of shareholder supremacy to one of let's add value to the company, and how do we go about adding value? Can we do it in a socially responsible way? And it ends up that doing things in a socially responsible way make business sense. It's not philanthropy per se, it actually makes sense. People nowadays, students that are entering the workforce, actually more than just students that are entering the workforce, it's no longer just, can I make a lot of money? They're starting to question, well, do I want to work for this firm? Do I agree with their ideals, their culture? If you want to get the best and the brightest, you have to be on the forefront of social responsibility. So as a retention, as a recruiting tool. Secondly, brand recognition. If you shop at some places like, say, Whole Foods, you certainly don't go there because it's cheaper. A lot of people shop at places like that because they agree with their philosophies. The Ben & Jerry's or the Body Shops. So it's a way to differentiate a product in a somewhat crowded market. If you were to go back, say, 10 years ago and read 10Ks, which are the annual statements that public companies file with the SEC, one of the things that's up front, foremost in there, is their aggressive way that they portray themselves as how they really care about their shareholders and the programs they have in place to ensure that they have a value-based management or shareholder supremacy. It was just everywhere spoken. Whether or not they really meant it or not, they had to say it because everybody expected them to say it, and it was just a given that that was important. Then, in the years following the Enrons of the world, all of a sudden that was not something that you'd want to say. You didn't want to portray yourself as being so strongly associated with just making money for the shareholders, because that was looked at as almost morally corrupt or ethically corrupt. What we did is we looked at companies and did some statistical analysis where you compare how they do financially with the number of good things that they did and the number of bad things that they did. We found very high association between the goods and positive financial outcomes, and surprisingly even larger negative association between the bads and how well they did. In other words, the more bads they did, then the worse their financial performance. The more goods they did, the more better the financial performance.